Hello everyone and welcome back to Unity of Command. This is Taifun episode 3. If you have not seen the previous 2 episodes, I highly recommend you check them out. Otherwise, well, I'm not going to explain anything that I have done so in the earlier videos. So here we go. Let's take a quick look at the situation. In the extreme north, we've been heroically cut off. Not that it matters, because these units would have been out of supply anyway. So we need to get this unit back in supply this turn, and we can use this motorized division to attack the city of Kalinin. However, the AI actually moved one of its better units, one of its best units, with a T-34 special step into the city. So, so we're definitely not going to break it this turn. Around Rev, the situation is great. We highly outnumber we severely outnumber the Soviets, outgun them as well, and once we attack them from the back as well, we can just crush them everywhere. Around Moshaist, this unit captured the road hex, but we're still in full supply, so it was totally pointless. We are not planning to advance in the next few turns. Around Kaluga, we will approach the city. As you can see, we have cleared out this whole area, and this is the next area to break through. We have a lot of units that are extremely well equipped to take care of this job. And around Tula, the AI has bunched up in our faces. Some of our units are out of supply, but they can still attack, and most of them are actually in supply. Fortunately, the weather is still favorable to us. I think the storm is a bit late. We will take out and capture Orel, take out this garrison and capture Orel the next turn. We'll wait still, but this turn we need to take care of the Kursk garrison and this straggler unit, which still has an active T-34 special step, by the way, so let's not underestimate it. Alright, afterwards we will still need to break through the Soviets here, eliminate this bunch of units here, and then of course take Moscow as well. So let's see how turn 7 goes. First things first, we move this unit to the south. We need to reconnect to the road, so hopefully we can capture the road, and then it will be in supply at the beginning of the next turn. We bombed the city, and it was extremely successful. We suppressed 2 units, and so we repeat the bombing run again. 2 steps, I mean, and we suppressed it once again, one additional step. And the city is in ruins. Unfortunately, our attack only caused 1 active step casualty. This is to be expected. As I've said, this is an excellent Soviet unit. I disband one of these units because I'm thinking that here in the north I don't need 2 tank divisions. I cannot even use them very well, and I could use them to reinforce other better tank divisions. This one is the weaker type. Its stats are a bit lower, one value lower than the superior Panzer division stats. So by removing this unit from the battlefield, in the next 2 turns I'll be able to reinforce other units which will be therefore stronger. So this is a trade-off I'm willing to make for the final push. And here let's try to take care of the Rev area. This is not at all I mean, this straggler was practically useless, worthless anyway, and we definitely need to crush the river crossing here. There is a bridge here, and this unit is entrenched, so I know it's across the river, but we still want to remove the entrenchment, so I use the pioneers to attack, and unfortunately the pioneer special step gets removed. This was a painful loss. On the other hand, this unit is now severely weakened. The other one is removed, and now we are looking at hopefully breaking through the enemy, the enemy line here, and we will simply wear them down by virtue of being having superior numbers. And unless we get cut off, now our supply runs until here directly, so all the units will remain in supply depending on weather, and also if we are not cut off, obviously. So now we are just dragging the units along, and it's time to look at the next front sector around Mosaisk. I want to make sure we're not totally cut off, and of course slowly I want to advance the infantry up. So we are going to start by removing this unit here, and it works relatively well. Yeah, and we want to destroy it. It has a gun, so it is a excellent unit, but we still managed to destroy it. And now we are keeping units on all road hexes, right? Again, we're just marching up. We're using the fact that the storm still has not arrived for some reason. I didn't realize that it was so late in this scenario. All right. So everything looks great here. We are still outgunned here. So you can play this scenario a bit differently. If you concentrate more forces around Mosaisk, then you can cut off the Kaluga garrison if you cut through around here. You can still remain in supplies. It's totally doable, but the AI will try to liberate its forces, so it will counterattack. So beware of that. But instead, I'm just trying to hold the front line here and the supply, and instead the breakthrough will have to be forced by these units themselves. So it's not going to be an easy going for them, but eventually they will succeed. Now in the more to the south, I reinforced this unit with one infantry step. That's the only one we had available for this turn. And we need to once again recapture this supply point that the Soviets have recaptured once again. So this is crucial. But first I try to capture the Kursk garrison, the city of Kursk, and reconnect the supply lines. Obviously this unit will be able to break it up again, but that's okay because the Orel garrison is blocking the supply anyway. It would be nice if we could have supply running up until here, like so, but it's not going to be the case. What is crucial is that the units won't be in supply, so we need to act. And what's really interesting is that this unit somehow survived, and since it's literally sitting on the supply source, it will obviously get resupplied. It will receive one active step, so it's nothing to worry about. And this unit will not get resupplied. That's the key here, because that would be disastrous. It's a very strong unit. It could be theoretically a very strong unit. Now it's worthless. So the situation is stable here. Here, I return to Mosaisk and I do something weird. I just capture this hex. Sometimes the AI likes to recapture useless hexes, and I hope that it will move out here and thereby lose its entrenchment and make it that unit easier prey. And the same reasoning led me to do this move as well. The reason I was able to do that is because its unit is weak, and therefore it has lost its area of control capabilities. So this tank unit no longer had to finish its movement when it entered here. All right, the SS is so powerful that it can actually attack across the river, even if it's a very strong unit, and it's kind of successful. And here around Tula, you might be aware of our situation, that we are basically trying to just wear them down. I'm trying to advance here, but there is no chance for us to get supply this turn at all, so that's not possible. I still want to wreak havoc, and my thinking is that probably we will be cut off from supply, but next turn we can be, we can retreat at the very least. And if you look at it, as of this moment, since the weather is good, we are in supply until this point, so that's fairly good actually. And I'm trying to pull the units out of supply to the back so that they will get resupplied. As you will see, this did not work out greatly, but I'm also but this is okay, so at least we dealt some good damage. I'm also allocating units to the front, weaker infantry units, so that they will buffer. And now it's finally time to destroy this totally depleted unit with the T-34 special step. It was part of the initial front line, if you recall. So this is the last unit, I guess, from those groups or battle formations. It's totally depleted, it stands no chance, and it simply dies. Yep. And I'm clearing out the red here. This time it makes sense because as our supply runs here, it means all of our units get better supply, even if the storm arrives finally. So the less red you have, the better in this regard. And I'm removing that unit. It will only arrive, the steps will only arrive after the Panzer steps have, so it's gonna take a while, but still, I don't need that unit, and later on it will be useful, they will be useful. And I was thinking that it will arrive on turn 10, which is fine. We're still going to be playing this scenario on turn 10, so I guess that's fine. The Soviets are once again bunching up in our faces. The AI likes to do that, as I mentioned, and fortunately it removes some of its units from entrenchment, which is great. And here is something interesting. I sent these units to annoy the AI, and it actually completely caught the bait. These are very weak units. They are not suitable for any offensive action, really. They might be able to mop up stragglers, but the AI sends a huge amounts of forces to to kind of stop them, which is really weird. This is overkill for sure. And so these units are missing from somewhere else, like the Soviet motorized rifle debris, NKVD motorized rifle division has a T-34 attached, and so this is an excellent unit, and it's not defending the riverfront, you know, it's not defending against the stronger units, it's defending against this poor infantry division which has 2 active steps, so it's practically nothing. So the AI makes mistakes like that, and you can actually count on it to make mistakes like that, so you can actually force it, kind of, not truly force it in the sense that we didn't do anything to make it certainly lose, you know, to have it so that it has no chance of but to do this, but you can trick it into such steps. Here the AI cut us off. However, our tank unit is still going to be in supply, and I think the motorized division as well. So that's what's really important. Even if the weather turns bad, it can still connect up until here, right? And now it attacks, and this is what I meant. You don't need so many elite units like this to remove a infantry division with 2 steps. It could have just sent that one, destroyed our our unit at the head of this little wedge, and send the others to remove even more probably, but fortunately it didn't. Here these 2 cavalry divisions duke it out against each other, and at the beginning of the previous turn they both had 3 active steps each, and at the end of this turn they're both dead, so that's an okay trade I'm willing to make. And as you can see, it moved also some units out of Moscow, which is kind of strange, in my opinion. And as usual, they receive a lot of reinforcements, reinforcing steps. Now, on turn 8, the storm has finally arrived in earnest. As you can see, the map has more tiles under snowfall or rainfall than clear ones. So from now on, we have to really be careful of where to attack and with what. So, and supply-wise as well. So this is going to be a bit different. This poor depleted unit is just trying to reconnect. In this state, it cannot cross rivers, so it actually has to walk all the way here until it receives supply. So that's gonna take a while. And yeah, we still have quite a few turns to capture Kalinin, so I'm not worried. Even though the weather is bad here, we really would like to remove this unit from the road. So this becomes a priority, and we succeed, although it was quite grievous. And another thing with the storm is that your units can move very slowly in the muck, and that's kind of painful. So I set up this little conga line here, so that first of all this unit remains in supply, and second we get to attack Kalinin the next turn. I don't want to let it. I probably will get back up to full supply, but we need to start bashing away at it. Eventually we have to capture it. Here in the middle front we are just, you know, randomly shooting at Soviet units. The weather is fine, so we are free to do so. And yeah, we have a lot of reinforcements coming, so casualties are not really a concern, to be honest. And yeah, even so, this unit is dead. It was costly, but still, you know, it's one less bother for our elite tank divisions. And here, as you can see, this Oka River bank is not at all defended, only at the supply line and the bridge. So we are free to just cross and do this quite effectively, and which allows the other tank unit to also cross and destroy this weakened unit. So the AI is making some mistakes here, which is great, which we need to capitalize on. We are not attacking across the river, but we are blocking all approaches and capturing all approaches. That's our idea here. Oops. So yeah, let's see what happened again. Okay, so in the southernmost sector of the front, as I've said, this unit regained supply, but this is pathetic, so we just remove it from the map. Yep. And it's time to destroy this unit, and it survives, and we can remove it, but we don't have the movement steps to capture the road. This was infuriating, because at this moment the road is not connected, and although there is nothing threatening us at all, this means that the units here around Tula are still not in supply. As you can see, some of them are getting quite depleted, so we need to kind of abandon our assault and pull back to supply, which is horrible at turn 8. We still have a lot of time, but it's still, as I've said, infuriating. Since this is not crucial now, but since we're here, we can try to destroy and destroy the garrison in a capture Orel. This goes well, and this unit will be back in supply the next turn, so I guess there is some progress being made. So I resort to just trying to destroy as many of the Soviet units as possible. However, the weather is not favorable for us, so this is not going extremely well. And yeah, at least we are making some progress, so it's not totally worthless, but you can chalk off this turn, and probably even the next one is almost useless, to be honest. As I've said, this was really annoying that we couldn't connect the road up until here, because if that one hex could have been captured, then we would have supply up until here, just 2 hexes away from Tula. That's why I'm trying to actually keep the... That is exactly why I'm trying to keep the road occupied, so that when next turn we do connect this, there is no resistance here, the Soviets are not going to spawn any units here, then we are finally going to be in supply, and we haven't given up any positions, so this might work out in our favor. We bomb Kalinin again, and once again, and it's quite out of supply, so that's fine. And this, remembered in the previous turn, we reorganized one tank unit, and we are reinforcing this one with it. So it only has 3 steps, but by gaining 2 more, it still remains a veteran, and with 5 active steps, it's going to be quite a useful little tool. I realize that this unit has not moved. I don't dare push it forwards, lest this unit be cut off once again, and then it will be completely worthless. But I realize that we can do this. Bang, turning this unit into elite, and this. With this little movement, we have given up this forward supply hex, which is fine. The Soviets are free to capture it and advance even more forwards to us, but I hope that the supply will reach from here. Alright, now not many units remain, actually no more units remain, so it's time for the Soviets' turn. Once again, they start by spawning actually quite powerful formations, because of course they are, and none of their units are out of supply except for this one, so from now on the grind is going to be real. So we need to punch through, and the weather is not going to be favorable to us, so this is the part where many of the runs break down, many of the attempts tend to break down. I actually cut the road here with this tank formation, but they still receive supply from this side of the from the supply route, so it was kind of worthless. It's still good to annoy the AI like this, because then it kind of is worried that we have advanced so far ahead. And on turn 9 you can already see that winter is arriving, which is great. It's actually November the 1st, and once the map turns white, we can recommence our attack, so that's something we are eagerly looking forward to. And the only thing saving the Soviets now is the weather, as you can see. But still, that shouldn't, you know, deter us. So let's bomb Kalinin again and again. And that one did nothing. And now we are free to attack. This unit is quite weakened, and now it's fully out of supply. But we can have no other units to attack it with, which is awesome. So let me see something. Oh yeah, due to the bad weather, this unit had to force march here, so it can no longer attack the Soviet unit. It has no chances of resupplying. There is no supply source here, so it would have to walk. Well, the road is in supply, so it would have to walk until here to get it. But there is no weather effect here, so we can proceed at least somewhat, and by somewhat I mean up until this point. And we are in full supply, so this is actually excellent. And we're just bashing away the Soviets. The idea is, of course, to drive along this road. They don't really have anything that can stand against us, to be honest. So this is not really like a very brave push. But fortunately, there is a gap in the storm here for some reason, which is great. Yep. And otherwise, we're just trying to follow the armored spearheads and trying to catch up. As you can see, the weather really is quite formidable, and yeah, it causes even a tank casualty, active step casualty here. And here as well, the things are not going great, unfortunately. But we have time. This is a secondary front line, so it's not like we need to break through here. This is essential. It would just allow us to, you know, get a lot of units also to participate in the siege of Moscow. And these infantry units are totally worthless, so I don't mind throwing them at the enemy. If they get any results, that's fine, and they do. Now finally we capture the road hex, which is what I've been waiting for a long time. And now at this moment, our supply finally reaches until this hex, just 2 hexes from Tula. And now I know for certain that in the next turn, all of our units will be in full supply. We just need to survive until then. So we continue our assault and bash away at the Soviets. This attack was deliberate. I knew that my unit would die, but that's better than shuffling it about. I was hoping it would do some damage, but it didn't. I guess that was less successful. And now once again we are kind of free to move out as long as we can protect the roads somewhat. We can just, you know, rush ahead and don't need to stay close to this river as previously we kind of had to. So that's a great relief. This allows us to be more effective even despite the weather effect. So this is Tula stands no chance. Now I know there are a lot of units here and they keep spawning in units. I don't care. This unit will definitely be in supply the next turn, so that's fine. And this tank unit receives 2 steps as reinforcements. I was kind of thinking about where to use those 2 steps, but I thought that we cannot miss Tula. I was sure that Kalinin would fall. And I know we have 3 more turns to capture this city, but as I've said in the previous attempt, I failed this objective, and I was kind of certain that Moscow would fall by the end of turn 14. So I thought this was still the one with the highest risk. So yeah, disbanding units and pushing the others forward so that they might be of use later on. Unless they cut us off, this unit actually is remaining in supply, funnily enough, because there is a road hex here. So if they do cut us off, then they need to march off to our faces, which is also fine. So the Soviets the AI doesn't really have a good option. And as you can see, the turns are much faster now. Both sides have much fewer units, especially the Soviets, of course. And they're still, don't get me wrong, they're still formidable, and they still can present a challenge. And by the way, incidentally, 3 steps is the most that you can reinforce a unit with in a turn. So even if you have more steps available, you cannot, the game doesn't allow you to use more steps for reinforcements. You can actually accumulate steps, so if you don't use up your reinforcements in a given turn, they're still available the next turn, so it can get accumulated. Now it's turn 10. The map is turning white, so I'm pretty hopeful that by the next turn it will have, you know, reached most of our battlefield. at least where we are still fighting. So I'm hoping that on turn 11 we can be fully effective again. But I'm also hopeful that on this turn we can at least, try to remove this threat here. So attack, 2 supply off. I don't dare attack again because I believe that I'm quite certain that the bombers wouldn't cause any casualties, and it was fully suppressed anyway. So we capture it, and we destroy it. The AI is far to capture it, and it's too far to do anything about it. And anyway, we're staying here so that we're kind of blocking the bridge halfway. This unit is weak, obviously, but again, it doesn't really need to do much. Just stand firm. And now you can see the effect of icy ground, or frozen ground. Yeah, so this unit is dead. And as you can see, we could move quite a lot. So basically, your units move on frozen ground the way they move on clear ground. So it's kind of the same. We recaptured the supply source just out of spite. Not that I can use this unit for much. And as you can see, we're in full supply here. So although the weather is horrible, everything else is on our side. And actually, I'm going to show you. So this little snowflake icon shows that the weather is the ground is frozen. It's not that it's raining or snowing. All right. Oops. We finally remove this unit with the T-34, and yes, it causes us casualties, but we don't care. And I specifically made sure that I can move in with this unit. In fact, if you look at it, I first moved out the tank unit, then moved in the tank unit, because if for some reason it had not been able to move into the city hex, we need to keep it occupied. If we lose it, then we lose the brilliant victory. So if it had not been able to, this unit had not been able to get in here, then I would have withdrawn the movement. You can always withdraw the last movement if you have not taken any action, any other action at all. And now we attack. The weather is horrible, so this doesn't go great, but we have a lot of time and there is no real threat whatsoever. And we're also trying to clear out the road here so we can finally send our remaining units. And this goes very poorly, and at some point I simply abandoned the idea of removing all these units by force, and realized that we can cut, for instance, this one off, and hope that with the weather effect as well, this one is also getting cut off from supply, and just simply starve them out. This looks really funny. And that's the idea here. So we leave some weakened units here, starve these units out, and then just remove them from the map. They do not cut us off from supply even from here, so that's sufficient in my book. And yeah, so the front line here is stable. There is nothing the Soviets can do really to disturb us. So let's turn to the most immediate objective, that is Tula. And yep, the weather is still bad, as you know, so whatever, but we can still cause some damage. I think this is a patch of clear weather here actually, and I use the other bombing attack to attack the city, and this turns the city into ruins, which actually gives the defending infantry a bonus. As you could see, this went very poorly. But we have time, so we will simply wait until the storm dissipates, and then we will remove them. We still have more time to do that, so I'm not afraid at all that this will be successful. And yeah, all we need to look out for is to keep the road intact. Actually, our supply is amazing, so it reaches literally up until the city, so everything is totally in supply, and not even the worst weather can change that. We reinforce this motorized division so that it stands better chances in the siege against Moscow. And yeah, we're just moving to the front. The weather is bad here, so the movement is cut. We receive malaces for movement, but again, we're totally in time. And already at this moment, the situation looks pretty hopeless for the Soviets. These are all infantry divisions, with special steps granted, including some tanks. But and this one, which is veteran and has a T-34, it's a guards rifle division, but they are simply outnumbered by either superior or at least equivalent units. So this is The situation is hopeless, as I've said. No amount of unit shuffling will save them. And they cannot save Tula either, so once the weather allows it, we can simply capture it, and the weather does so, so it no longer rains here, and it's all snowy. So we begin our turn 11, by bombing it. The city is already in ruins, so we cannot you know, make our situation any worse. So now it's time to just remove them, and this unit still surprises us with so much resistance, but now it's totally suppressed, so it is totally worthless as well. And yeah, we capture the city, and this moment all I'm thinking about is what if the Soviets counterattack? They don't really stand a chance. This is the veteran tank unit with 6 active steps, and yeah, so it will defend the city. I'm not even afraid that it won't. So, but still, if we remove these units, we can drive on and we can assault Moscow from the south as well. So why not do that? There is nothing stopping us. The weather is on our side actually. So just let's destroy as many of these formations as we can. And as you can see, this goes great. So there is really nothing opposing us, to be honest. I'm going for the strongest units so that they don't attack in their next turn, and this goes perfectly, to be honest. So everything gets destroyed here, as you can see. And if you recall how many units they had here at the beginning of the turn, the city was still firmly held, and how it will look at the end of our turn with our units, armored spearheads advancing forwards. And yeah, they have some units remaining. This is on the other side of the river, by the way, so it's not really a threat. Everything is connected. Our supply runs literally until this point, which is amazing. Then you realize how much of a total victory it is. I send this unit here to the east because I want to capture this supply route at Ryazan. It's not really important, but it's kind of funny to start this unit out. Once it's cut off from the north as well, then we can just remove it. It's not at all important, so this is just for fun. We don't need more units. In fact, we will have a problem of not all units being able to participate in battles in the final turns, because the area is relatively small and we have a ton of units. So you can spare one motorized division like that. I don't recommend you send your best units, obviously, but still. And yeah, and at this moment they don't stand a chance, obviously. This unit is still quite formidable, and it's not cut off, so that's why I'm not worried about it, but I'm kind of counting with it. And keep on driving towards the heart of the resistance here. Yeah, even though the resistance is pretty formidable, I mean, we can just bash at them until the cows come home, practically. So it's all fun. It's all fine. And I'm shuffling units about so that my best units are in the front, and that's why I also removed that unit as well. Here is the same idea. This is their best unit, but we are superior, and so let's destroy it. There is no chance that they can capture it, but I still keep my unit there just to make sure. My tank unit there. This is on the other side of, no, sorry, this was on our side of the river. Okay, even better. That's why I removed it. And now, at this very moment, if we can hold it, then our supplies run in 2 separate supply lines up until the city of Moscow, and there is a third line coming up quite close. So I used the SS. The SS I couldn't use it for anything else, so I used it to attack this formation. This is still quite powerful, but I want to remove it in this turn. These units won't participate in any further battles, so they're expendable. This one we will wait until it runs out of supply. And I realized that this this heavily depleted unit can actually be used to cut off the enemy, because it still would probably receive supply here, or it might, maybe it wouldn't, but this way, if we cut it off like that, then it definitely won't, and we can just make its situation even worse and cause it to panic. Yeah, so this is getting oppressive, I guess. What else? Yeah, well, I make sure when I moved out of the city, I made sure that um, I could put another unit in it. It's a veteran unit. It's a standard infantry unit with 5 active steps, so it's not really strong, but it's good enough to hold a city that is not in any danger. And finally, the unit that captured the supply source here in the northwest, extreme northwest, is back in some supply, and we can start counting with it. Not that we need to. On the Soviets' 11th turn, they start out with a lot of their units cut off, these ones as well, so this is all fine, and no chances whatsoever. We have 3 turns, so turn 12, 13 and 14 to capture this one victory hex, so the situation is hopeless, and they stop receiving reinforcements, or if they do, they would probably receive it here, so they cannot spawn them to the map. They cut off this unit, which is of no consequence whatsoever. And okay, they counterattack. I mean, that's the best they could do, but this is again totally worthless. They receive steps as reinforcements, but that's also not something we have to worry about. And as the map turns more and more white, we don't care. The storm is finally behind us, and the terrain and the weather is perfect for our warfare, for offensive warfare. So let's just cut, directly forwards. And I decide, since these units cannot be used for any assault, I decide to use them as kind of meat shields on this side of the bridge. So because these units actually moved out quite offensively. They didn't attack, but I was thinking that they probably are moving forwards to take back Kalinin, and so these units have now moved into superior defensive positions to deter them from attacking. And yep, we're just moving ahead. And one thing that I have not noticed is that Moscow is almost completely surrounded by rivers, so there is a specific way to attack it, I guess. But I was just attacking it and frontally, and that's not really advisable. I don't recommend you do that. So we are attacking across the river. If we did that, then we would have lost a lot of units, I guess. This is their green unit, so this is actually totally a very weak one, and it's easy to deal with. I don't want to waste my panzer divisions on attacking these. And this, I was thinking about this one for quite a while, because I want to use these 2 units in the top to the northernmost one of this assault brigade to participate in the assault here. But there is one unit that is blocking our progress, obviously, so if I move that unit 1 hex to the south, that allows us to use this very strong one, which cannot be used for anything else, so it's good to assault that one and to try to remove the blockade. And this works out pretty well. Now this unit is fully out of supply, so it gets destroyed. And now, as stated earlier, we can keep on assaulting. This was on our side of the river, but this is on the other side, and I realized that, so we move across. And this was a mistake. I didn't realize that there was a river here, and also that there was a river here as well. So I was getting quite surprised that our assaults were going pretty poorly, but oh well. This is all fine. Yeah, this one of course wasn't. This one will again. Yep. And we're just bunching up on a huge amount of really powerful units against them. It's not even funny. And yeah, this unit is theoretically still quite powerful, but we have so many units around here that we can just waste them on this one. There is really no threat of of it surviving or it causing us grievous damage. These units are worthless as well, and I captured that supply source, as I've said. I still move a unit here. We have a ton of units left, ton of standard infantry divisions, not even weak ones. This has 6 steps and this one has 5 steps. So just to hold the city in case, I don't know, they spawn a unit and they rush here. But other than that, they don't stand a chance. This unit cannot attack, and that's the one closest to the city. This one won't get there, obviously. And we are converging on the city, as you can see. Yep. We receive reinforcements still. This reorganization or disbandment as well. And I just see that we can push our units forwards, and I had a kind of an issue that one of my best units, this SS division, which is elite and has 7 active steps, simply could not reach the front line. But if I did this move, then it with forced march it could get here. It cannot attack this turn, but it's fine. This unit is of no consequence, so whatever. And the Soviets start their 12th turn completely hopeless. This unit is fully out of supply. This unit is starting to run out of supply, and their situation is just hopeless here. Their garrison protecting or defending the victory hex is strong. It is one of their best units. It's veteran. It's a guard rifle division. It has 7 standard steps and a KB1 special step, so it is actually really powerful. And it receives a bonus against armor as well. So this is a force to be reckoned with. But other than that, everything else is just garbage here, basically. These units are not really strong, and we are facing them with ungodly amounts of panzer divisions and motorized and SS and whatever you will, including air attacks. So these units are cut off. They don't want to fight their way back to the front line. They actually can't seem to decide what to do. And so they just shuffle around doing nothing. They could have either tried to cross the this Volga canal to get back here, or they could have forced their way, for example, through here, or possibly through the elite panzer division. Not a good idea, but in the end they decided to do neither. Now it's our turn 13, and this is the final turn actually. We still have another full turn apart from this one to capture the city, but that's fine. We just move here to taunt this poor unit. It won't be able to attack next turn. It is at the moment is superior to both of these units, but the next turn it won't. The next of a Soviet's turn it won't be able to attack. So I don't care if I move a weak unit on its face. And on our final turn of turn 14, I would have tried to attack it just out of fun. The results would have been, uninteresting anyway, or inconsequential. We remove this unit because it's been annoying me and I just want to take revenge on it, and this goes off without any problems, obviously. And yep, and now it's time to attack. Obviously we bomb the victory hex, and the city turns into ruins, which favors the defenders, but in our favor, it removed the special step to suppress, so that's great. This is our chance to strike, and strike we will. And now we're attacking across the river, so this goes extremely poorly, but we have practically an infinite amount of units that we can throw across, and so we will. There is no danger here. I'm not afraid of losing anything here. Yep, we can do this all day long. And we will. Bang. We have 4-star crossing, and it's the honor of the SS or the chance for the SS to attack. There is no river separating these two hexes, so an assault directly from the south. By this time I realized the layout finally, and so a direct assault from the south is actually a good idea. This is our best unit, and so let's assault. And yeah, it gets breached, and it still remains in place, but it's not going to get saved. And now I'm attacking across the river. It has 1 active step, so it's worthless. At this moment we have a huge amount of units that can move in. These two have not moved, and yeah, so we can just roll in and win. But I decide to at least play around the map a bit, and we decide to destroy this unit. It goes poorly, but we don't care. We have won the scenario finally. It took me around 10 hours to do this, so I'm just savoring the moment. And now the special step, it had a gun removed. We know that it can be easily defeated, and it can. And I decide to waste no more time and just move in with the strongest panzer unit that we have around. It's an elite with 6 active steps. And yeah, that's it. We still had a whole other turn, so I'm positive that if we had waited, we could have removed all of the units on the map if we had wanted to. But there is no point to do that. This could have been again a bit grindy. So there is no real reason to do so. And we have captured all our objectives. I absolutely love when this map, turns into, well, this, so that all your units converge. This is a huge conglomeration of forces, and we have destroyed around 1,000 steps in this game. So that's an absolute record. I think I think the second biggest number is even less than 500, so less than half of this. It's a gigantic battle, and you need to pay attention to a lot of things, and you need to win on separate fronts with different tactics and strategies. It tests your skills, your endurance, your experience. It tests you overall. But once all the puzzle pieces fall into place, then it's a really highly enjoyable scenario with zero luck or very little luck involved. So you don't need to get lucky with this strategy to succeed, and that's also fantastic in my opinion. This is an excellently made scenario and a very good example of what this game is about for experienced players. Obviously, I wouldn't put this in a demo, but I really love that this is like a pivotal map, I would say, in this game. That's it. I hope you found it useful and interesting. I thank you all for watching, and see you all next time. Bye bye.